Hi, my name's Lauren Myers, and I'm going to be doing my speech on decriminalizing drugs in the United States. In 2016, according to We Are the Drug Policy Alliance, there were 1.6 million drug arrests in the United States, and more than 86% were just for possession. While this topic is quite controversial, I think we can all agree that these people who abuse drugs need help. Decriminalizing drugs in the United States would greatly benefit the country's citizens by providing treatment for people instead of a prison sentence. I'm going to provide evidence from different sources that would support my reasoning for decriminalizing drugs. Throughout my speech, I would like my audience to relate this topic to their own life. I'm sure a member of your family has tried a drug or does drugs. Do you want them to be sent to prison for most of their lives, or do you want them to get the help they deserve? One experience with drugs has the ability to ruin someone's life and opportunities forever. If an individual is caught with illegal drugs, it goes on their criminal record for the rest of their life and is public information for employers and others. As stated in the Rolling Stone, their criminal records lock them out of jobs, housing, education, welfare assistance, voting, and much more. These individuals are also subject to stigma and discrimination in society. Those impacted are disproportionately people of color. In North Carolina, more than 2 million people in the state have criminal records, and 90% of employers ask about that history. This is due to the opioid crisis. According to Michael Cooper from Talk Poverty, a common reason people got addicted to opioids was because doctors overprescribed pills such as Oxycontin, Vicodin, Percocet to people who were in pain and out of work. Many got hooked and some sold pills on the black market. Because of the lack of funding at the state level, there is no public defender's office. This is a huge problem since many don't have money to pay for a lawyer. According to the Washington Post, an Oregon study showed that Black and Native American people were more likely to be convicted of drug crimes than white people. Blacks were 8.3 times more likely than whites to be in jail pending trial in 2019, 4.8 times as likely as whites to have a case prosecuted, and 4.6 times as likely as whites to have a case resulting in conviction. This shows the bias and racism within the United States. Communities of color are targeted by law enforcement when it comes to drug arrests. According to Psychology Today, nearly 8 million individuals have a co-occurring mental health and substance abuse disorder. Mental illnesses such as depression leads to substance abuse. Although drug use and addiction can happen at any time in a person's life, drug use typically starts in adolescence, a period when the first signs of mental illness commonly appear. People who are depressed may use drugs to uplift their mood or escape from feelings of guilt or despair. Mental health resources can be extensive and inaccessible for people with disorders. Hard drugs are very accessible in the United States. 59% of people in the U.S. say access to drugs is easy. Americans spend $150 billion on drugs annually. This is huge for the economy, which is why drugs are so easy to get because they are illegal, which is why drugs are so easy to get when they're illegal. They boost the economy, and teens have easy access to drugs. Individuals will continue to rely on drugs unless they are provided with other options for help. In the U.S., people have better access to drugs than mental health resources. The government is not going to expel all drugs because they are good for the economy. There are 10 million drug arrests in the United States annually. Decriminalizing drugs in the United States would greatly benefit the country's citizens by providing treatment for people instead of a prison sentence. If drugs were decriminalized, drug addicts will feel less obligated to hide their addiction and perhaps ask for help instead. This would significantly lower the drug overdose rate in the United States. Oregon is the first state to expand access to much-needed culturally responsive treatment, harm reduction, and other services through excess marijuana tax revenue. Save money by reducing prison and especially jail costs and population sizes. Free up law enforcement resources to be used in more appropriate ways. Statistics and results from other countries, such as Portugal, that have decriminalized drugs prove it is an effective way for decreasing arrests, incarceration, disease, and overdose. According to We Are the Drug Alliance policy, Portugal's drug use rates remain below the European average and far lower than the drug use rates in the U.S. Between 1998 and 2011, the number of people in drug treatment increased by more than 60%. The number of people arrested and sent to criminal courts for drug offenses and annually declined by more than 60% following decriminalization. We cannot get rid of the United States drug problem by incarcerating individuals. Reducing and eliminating criminal penalties for drug possession does not increase rates of drug use or crime, while drastically reducing addiction, overdose, and HIV/AIDS. Polls of presidential primary voters last year found that substantial majorities support ending drug arrests for the U.S. and possession in Maine 64%, New Hampshire 66%, and even South Carolina 59%. This shows the U.S. already has support from the American public. Instead of being punished for turning to drugs in a vulnerable state, individuals should be provided with help instead of being stigmatized. Decriminalizing drugs will decrease the amount of people in jail, save the government $40 billion, and provide drug users with help. Decriminalizing drugs in the United States would greatly benefit the country's citizens by providing treatment for people instead of a prison sentence. Coming back to the question I asked earlier, would you want your family member to go to prison or get the help they deserve? Thank you.